What is up, winning team? And yes, the sun is setting. Happy Sabbath, everybody. It's Friday and the sun is setting at the time I'm recording this. And I want to state the date. Actually, it's the 5th of September. Okay, listen, I've been putting it all together, and I just had a revelation of how this immigration stuff is linking in with the mark of the beast, is linking in with the stuff the World Health Organization is doing, is linking in with what the World Economic Forum is doing, and the new world order. Like, I just had a revelation, and it was so funny because what I was actually doing, I was doing this thing where I was kind of getting more information about this concept of these digital IDs, right? Because one thing I know about the kingdom of darkness is whenever they are getting us to do stuff, they always deceive us, right, into agreeing to things that we think are good. So, for example, but that we think we're doing for our good, but they're doing for their own agenda. So I'll give you guys an example with this country. When it came to Brexit, right? When we were having Brexit, when the decision was being made, the thing that they didn't do was give the people information about what this was really going to mean, which they then did do in the 5 years it took them to do Brexit. They then sent out this thing on the government website where you could read how a Brexit affects everything whilst it already was being done, which again for me was sketchy. Because I was like, why don't you do that before? Because the average person is not going to understand, but nevertheless. So one thing that they did, and I knew what was happening at the time, I knew that they wanted to make Brexit go through because they wanted to open up their opportunities, because being attached to the European Union was not favorable for them, especially if they wanted to do certain things, particularly with the United States of America. So they needed to put through Brexit. But if the government pushes that, that's not going to look good. No, no, no. So what do? We groom the people. We control what they think. We throw out all this propaganda. We had the red London buses with these huge banners talking about these hundreds of millions goes to the NHS if we if we leave the EU. The Polish people, became the problem again, and we're going to come to this immigration thing, because you see how even there's an immigration issue happening here, there's the immigration issue happening in the States, and everyone's getting upset. I'm going to come back to why they're using that to then do this other thing they want to do, which I think is another stepping stone towards the mark of the beast. Hear me out. So then what they did is they did all this stuff, right? Then the Polish people were and bearing in mind, I just went to Poland, so I got to do an assessment for myself of the Polish people and of Poland and of everything. And let me just tell you, it was very interesting. It was very interesting what I took away from it. I'm not going to get into that in this video because I'm just giving you an example. So anyways, what happens then? Everybody's upset. Everybody's upset at the Polish people. They want to see more money go to the NHS because they've seen the frigging red bus going around London, going around everywhere. They've heard all this stuff is going to happen, is going to be a benefit of Brexit. And so that's why they're choosing Brexit, right? And then we just got over in Brexit and whatever and what have you. Obviously, the NHS ain't doing no better, really. Let's be honest. In fact, in my opinion, I'm not talking about, I don't know about the money, but I can tell you that the situation of the actual system itself has gotten worse, and where money has gone, it hasn't gone where it's helpful, not important right now, and whatever. But what has changed, as I've told you, is all of a sudden we have a lot of these things. There's a lot of more of the Americanizing happening in the country. Like I said, I noticed lots of little things all of a sudden now, especially since Brexit. One of the main things I've realized is all the fast food chains are now popping up and all the junk food being available everywhere. Right? So it's kind of like, this is interesting. So I believe they did that on purpose because they wanted to have an opportunity for a lot of things. Just one example, to be able to drop their standards with certain things so that they could just take more advantage of the people and poison the people even more and control the people even worse. So this is what I think is happening with this immigration thing. I'm going to tell you how I came to this idea, right? when now that everybody's upset about immigration and people jumping borders and stuff, right? So now this is again, they're presenting a problem that we need a solution. So now all of us who don't really understand what's happening are hopping in to say, yeah, we want to have more closed borders. We want to do this, which is good. As in, like, I do think countries need to control their borders. You shouldn't just let any Tom, Dick, and Harry just walk into your country. You know, especially for those of us who came to this country from people who actually worked and came to work a job and worked all through the rules and paid all the money, you know, to be in the country and contributed to the country. Like my mum has worked 20 years in the NHS in this country, right? And even when we're living in America, she came on a work visa and worked in the healthcare system. So yeah, even somebody like me who's not even a British national can understand the annoyance, because I see people who are not like us who had way more benefits, while my mum couldn't even pick me up from school because she wasn't allowed, because she had to work specific hours because she was an immigrant and she had all these rules to do for years. I'm seeing other immigrants, like I saw the video the other day, just getting all these things. So I get it, the illegal immigrants. So I get the issue. I just wanted to say that before we move forward, even from my perspective, right? But then here's the thing I realized. So now, because of all of this stuff, there's also happening simultaneously, right? And remember, I always say the kingdom of darkness works as a team, and that's why it's so annoying that the body of Christ doesn't. Technology is moving forward, and there's all these ideas of digital IDs and digital this and digital that. So what I was seeing, right, what I was finding out about is that they're having this idea to have these like digital like where basically you can have digital verification to go through borders, right? So like if every border has these systems, and we then have, and this is when I started to twig, it's got to be a system, of course, for it to work around the world. It all has to be the same system, right? It has to be the same system, and they all have to be compatible, and we all have to agree. So that sounds like a good idea, and it sounds like a solution, especially if you're all up in your feelings and all up in anger about the situation with the immigration thing, right? And you're thinking, oh, this is annoying, and we need to take back our country, yada, 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 because that's where everybody's at now. I'm even seeing flags in the UK these days. I'm like, wow, this is the most incredible thing ever, right? And I'm actually happy to see the Brits have a bit of grit. I just wish we could have done that sooner. And if they had, they wouldn't have to be acting out so bit boldly now. But anyway, but this is my point. So now I feel like the government's doing it again. They're allowing a situation to worsen and worsen. They're doing it in our faces, right? I saw the clips of like people, this guy getting annoyed because he saw all this food being brought to the hotels where they're keeping immigrants over here. So it's like they're marinating us, they're milking us, right? They're influencing what we're thinking. They're controlling our emotions. They're getting us riled up, right? So then when they say, guys, we've been understanding, like just like they did with Brexit, we've been hearing your cry for the better things in the NHS, and we've been understanding the issue with other people, the Eastern Europeans taking jobs. So we're thinking we'll just break away from the EU, so it's not so easy for them to come here no more, and we'll just break from the EU so that we can spend the money that we were spending there, somehow we'll spend it in here instead, so we can look after our people in our healthcare system, which the NHS is the largest employer in the world, which I think is insane to think about. Anyway, but then that's the solution, but really they're doing it for their own ideas. And this is what I think with the immigration thing. I think, right, first of all, again, this whole digital, everything's controlled altogether. If we're all united in the world, there's a reason why I believe God talks about being set apart. He never wanted us to just live with the world and with its customs, right? And this is exactly why, because the world now is trying to all come together, right? Even the World Health Organization, another one, they've been saying all this stuff about you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. So you know it's probably going to happen. You'll have your digital ID, your digital thing, that your digital border pass you'll be so happy to have. That will be connected to your electric car. That will be connected to your electric everything. And so now, yes, you can go through the borders and you can get scanned at the border, or maybe facial scan, fingerprint, that we're doing all that stuff these days, you know what I mean, to get through the borders. And then if somebody doesn't have one, they can't get through. Sounds great when we're all up in our feelings about this immigration stuff, yeah. But what no one's going to be thinking about in that, and that's why, again, emotions are something that need to be under control. And that's why I love freedom in Christ, because when you have Christ, you have freedom. So you, no matter what you can think, again, it's 2 Timothy 1:7, you know. The Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That's the key part here. Sound mind. Sound mind. So you're thinking soundly, right? This is the thing that they're going to get us with. So it's going to come, I think they're going to try and push these digital IDs, these digital borders, and say, okay, we've heard your cries, we've heard your whatever, right? We're going to close up the borders. We're going to put in these digital systems where on your mobile device, you're going to be able to flip up on there your little passport and these digital passports and whatnot, and you're going to be able to go through the thing. But you know what that also does? And this is my other problem. It also means that there's going to be a group of people who are going to be all in control of everything, and all of our data, all of our names, all of our passport information, where we traveled, what we were doing, is all going to be available to them. And this is why I'm saying I think this is going to be a giant step towards the mark of the beast. Because then it's going to be like, well, how are you going to travel if you're not in this with this new scanner and this new system? How are you going to live? How are you going to whatever? Because everything's all going to be connected, because everything's all going digital. This is what I was just thinking. This is exactly what I was just thinking. And they're using us, and they're using what's happening to milk us. Like, it just hit me literally a few minutes before I started recording. I was like, this is, because then you know why? They like to pitch it like, do you think the government should do more about safety online and safety in whatever, right? And you're like, of course they should. Yeah, we do want the government. Actually, do we? Like, do you think the government, for example, like, you know, like, should the government, you know, questions like, should the government take more control of the regulations of AI? Yeah, it sounds good in concept, but regulation, if they're in control of the regulations, that means they have the control. That's the word we're forgetting about at the beginning there, is control. They are now in control. So once we've given them the power, this is what I'm saying, we the people, the power's with the people. We always give our power away. So we the people will be the ones giving it away, under the guise of, oh yeah, the government should be regulating everything and everything should be regulated. This is why I'm not in favor of that. I think I much prefer to use the AI of like some random guy who was in his basement and was working for the last 15 years and made the company and kept the company to himself. It's his AI I want to use. I don't care if my data's on his system and his company, because that is one thing. It's a different thing for us to have basically everything about our lives, from our healthcare to our livings, to our travel, to everything, to all be in with this one group of people. Because as soon as they have all of this, all they have to do is just flip the script immediately. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching it unfold, and I feel like it's going to be one of those where everyone's going to go, I don't know how he got here. We don't know how he got here. We don't know how he got here. Because that's how we always are as humans. We do things, we don't think, because we're so busy walking in our emotions a lot of the time. We're so busy being emotional and just charged, because anger is also an emotion, especially here. Now everyone's all like, yeah, we need to take our country back. I remember what Britain was like 40 years ago, 60 years ago. My grandma's would be rolling in her grave. It's like, mate, should be rolling in her grave that you didn't have any bollocks to stand up for your own country before, and that you sat there passively and didn't want to talk about things because we don't rock the boat and it's unpolitically correct to talk about politics and religion in the United Kingdom, my friend. That's why your grandma would be rolling in her grave because you let Islam come and take over the country when this place was supposed to be a Christian place. And even I remember seeing David Cameron declare that this was a Christian place, and the king of this freaking country is supposed to be King Charles, the head of the Church of England, and you just sat back, right, with no backbone and didn't stand up for the fact that this is supposed to be a Christian country. And your grandma will be rolling in her grave, right, seeing the fact that 95%, we went from 95% of people used to go to church, and even the Sunday roast in the United Kingdom used to exist because people would throw all the food in the and it's so funny because the Brits are still religious about the Sunday roast, but they don't even know the origin of why they were doing it. They were doing it because they throw everything in the tray or whatever to leave in the oven for a couple of hours to go where? Guess what? So that they could cook while they were at church. And then they would eat when they came back. That's why they do the Sunday roast. And to this day, so many Brits are still, this is why I'm saying I think this world is so freaking stupid. I think this world is so stupid and dumb and dense. And I think the adult population should be embarrassed by themselves, genuinely. Because look how these things are happening in front of our eyes. Like, and just put the things together. That's what I'm saying. We need to take a deep breath and take a deep look at ourselves and really think. Like, so this is why I'm saying about this, because this is actually not even a joke at this point, because this is what's going to happen. We're going to all go all digital. Everything's all fun and digital. It's all fun and digital. Digital equals trackable. And then if there's trackable, all we need is whoever's tracking. That's why I'm not in favor. Everyone's all like, yeah, we're going electric because it's good for the planet. Yeah. Again, they presented you with a so-called problem, and then they also presented you with a so-called solution. Just like with food. Oh, they presented you with a so-called problem. Oh, the world, what we're eating, it's not good for you to eat this, eat like this. And then they give you the so-called solution. When you're now ill and sick, they give you the so-called solution. Oh, come to our hospitals. Come to our hospitals and take our medications and our concoctions and our new fake meats and all. Listen, guys, can you not see what's exactly in front of your face? Can we not see this? Like, so anyways, I'm going to leave that there because I wanted this to be cute. I want to keep it cute and quick so that people can watch this video in full, right? But this is what I'm trying to say. I'm seeing it in 4K, like how all of this is turning out. And it's crazy. It's crazy because this is what's going to happen. They're controlling literally everything. And you know why they're doing this? They're letting everybody slowly but surely not be able to live properly. So that's why everything's getting more expensive, slowly but surely, slowly but surely. And they're also taking over more areas of your life more invasively at the exact simultaneously. So then there's going to come the point of which we're going to be able to have the mark of the beast introduced, is the point where you can no longer, with no amount of energy, no amount of working 50 hours a day, if it was even possible, or nothing, survive anymore. And also everything that you need to survive, you're all dependent on them. And also they have connections and tracking and everything of everything in your life anyways. And all they have to do then is flip the freaking switch on the mark of the beast and flip the freaking switch on the new world order. Just like that. Just like that. Well, oh, you're in a pickle? Well, guess what? Here's the thing. First of all, we can help you. But if you do, you need to take the mark. And you're gonna have to, because you're so reliant on them. This is why I've been saying that. Because you're so reliant on them, then they're gonna help you. It's just like how we'll take out all the seeds in the plants. So they can have the seeds and you can't. So then when we go in the supermarket, we will no longer be able to. Right now we can grow our own food. One day we're not going to be able to, because they're taking all this. They're like, oh, you guys don't like the seeds? Is that the problem? We'll be your solution. Let's remove them. And then you won't have any access. And then you will be wondering why you can't grow your own produce and all these things. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just crazy to me. That's why I say the power is with the people. The power is always with the people. The people have the power. The only reason the other people, they are in power, is because we have given over our power to them. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there, because if life's a game, let's play to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. I'll see you in my next one.